Now we're going to move on to the group member specific segment because we're kind of running out of time. People are going to arrive
I
soon
know.
here. Jennifer, you are one of my favorite things.
Thank you so
you
much.
really are. You've been.
Well, guys, Tom is the best thing about him. He's always positive. He comes to the table positive. He talks positive. He's very confident about himself. I really admire that, and so it makes it easy to play with him because he's being positive. And that's one of the things I personally have worked on is to be around positive people.
Yes.
So I am, again, very grateful for being asked. I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe this. So at any rate, you wanted to know more about why I'm a pioneer?
I mean, if you want to keep talking about me, I'm fine with that too. But no, I would. Yeah, yes. Tell us a little bit. Like, listen. You are the woman in our game group.
Yes.
You are an African American woman
Yes.
in our game group.
Yes.
And you are a pioneer and a veteran of the industry who has worked in this industry for a long time, who's designed one of the iconic games of the industry. You have such a wealth of experience. Just give us a little window into. Well,
it's very interesting because, I and my friend, we want to play games. Mm-hmm. We're not in it to look for men. We're not in it to talk down to people or to feel superior. We're there to play games. And so when I found out about diplomacy in this magazine, I went to this place called CompuServe, which has been dead for many decades now. And I found some other gamers and Ken Hill, who is now a developer for Rio Grande, and we searched everywhere for the games, for the translations. I got up at 4 a.m. to.
Did you ever play diplomacy by mail?
Yeah, that's how we play. See, that was the beauty of diplomacy on CompuServe. And this is an aside, but if you're going to play diplomacy, play it online with people that you don't know.
Play by web these days is the way to do it.
Right, exactly.
Listen, now that you're in the Game Brain group and we're doing this sort of stuff, we're gonna do an online game of diplomacy.
Without me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Continue.
So at any rate, so that was kind of my entry. And then, there was a con that was close by. I go to the con. I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to be the only black woman. I'm going to be the only black person and the only woman there. I don't care. I don't care. I put up with racial insults basically for all of my childhood and my teenagehood. So that was not, so what, right? So I get there and the people are awesome. They're just really good. I played for 30 hours or 40 hours straight. And everybody's just having a great time. And it was one of the best times. And I'm like, this hobby is mine. I am going to be in this hobby, and I'm going to have me a good time. Now, one of the things that's really kind of different that you don't think of when I'm an African American woman. So this means everybody remembers me. Oh, yeah, she's that black girl that I met, and instead of this big sea of white faces.
If you were a pasty white neckbeard, everyone would remember you too. You have a personality that is larger than life.
Yeah, well, I have worked. My mother was said to never have met a stranger. And I have worked to be like that. And sometimes I don't make it, but, I want to be positive. I think people should have a good time at the table. I think that's really important, that people are having a better time than I am.
Yes.
Or
is a good time, right?
Yeah, they're having, because that's what makes this hobby so great. What makes this hobby so great is that you can not have any money. Show up to a game group, you're in. We're like fresh meat. And then, so being the pioneer, I really wanted to get more people involved. We want, particularly remember, I'm coming in the 80s, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is when we're beginning that transition to the internet.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, at the start, and so okay, well, let's use the internet somehow to get more people into the hobby.
Yes.
And I feel feel like, going to the cons, I was always teaching games. I was always playing the games. Hey, Tom, I've got this pasted up version of Agricola. Don't you want to play?
Bring it. Let's do it. I remember that.
Yeah, don't you?
I totally remember that.
I know.
I remember playing it as like, what the heck is this? It was like cardboard and paper. And like, let's do it.
Yeah, and we had a great time, didn't we?
It was a blast.
It was, the game is awesome. For that time, for 2007 or whatever it was, maybe it was earlier, but we just had a great time. And that to me is what the hobby should be, having a great time, so, and I've always had days, like I used to have a meetup, and it turns out like after like a year, people were going, well, did you get the invite to her meetup yet? And I'm like, what? And so, because
you were the gatekeeper, you were the maitre d', and everyone wanted to get across the velvet.
And everybody wanted to be part of this, and I'm like, it really wasn't meant to be that way, but I was happy that it was successful.
Yes.
I now live in the middle of nowhere, according to people who live in LA. Santa Clarita is like living in Iowa or something. But
I had to change my currency to get here.
Yeah, right, exactly. But so, that's kind of why I'm a pioneer, because I've done a lot of things. And nowadays, I don't do so many meetups, and I don't have this broad collection where you have Catan and Splendor and stuff. I just have the games that I like, which are heavy games. I love 18XX. I love Advanced Civ, and I'm going to play Western Empires shortly.
That's one of the great things about the hobby is there's so many different types of games for so many different types of gamers.
But the main thing is that people never, ever feel like somehow heavy gamers are superior to your choices, because they are not. You don't need to prove yourself. You can be, Albert Einstein and play Uno. Okay,
right.
That's totally fine.
Matt, are you listening? I've been telling him this forever.
Right.
And he's always just shaming the non-gamers.
No, don't do that.
I'm just joking, Matt.
Oh,
Matt accuses me. I am much more likely to do that than Matt ever would do that.
But we don't want to do that, because every game, if you like Splendor, that's awesome. But what people get upset about is that, all they ever talk about is the heavy games. But that's really a hobby problem. Like, for example, if you get into photography, they're not talking about the $700 Fuji. They're talking about the $4,000 Nikon, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
I do think that there is a deepening of the hobby that people can get into, and I like to explore that with people if they're willing to. I think that this is a big hobby, and it should be a big tent. We should be able to be a safe place for everyone to play the games that they want to play. But I do like the idea of deepening a player's base and see where they're willing to go.
Right.
I would say it this way: if a person likes a particular movie, I'm a movie buff. That's my job. So I might say there is this movie that you probably have never even heard of that is very obscure, but if you like that, check this out and see if that might take you down a different road and kind of deepen your right. Like, this is the movie that you watched. I love that you love it. Try this.
Right.
And I think for me, as far as the heavier games, that's what I kind of like to do, is I like to take people that are, people that like Splendor or, any of these games, Catan, and say, hey, try this. Let's see. And sometimes they're like, oh my God, that is amazing. And they're ready to go down the rabbit hole with me.
Right.
And sometimes they're just, no, that's not really my thing. And that's fine. That's great.
Right. Well, one of the things that that is evidence of that is the growing interest in 18XX.
Yes.
Where GMT went with 1846 and then 62,
yes.
And I believe they're going to do, I forgot which one it is, but they're going to do another one. And 18XX is tough. I mean, it's not a hand holding. There's no rubber banding. You don't get caught up. You can,
nope.
Yeah, which is, for those of us who.
No luck, no chance, no nothing.
Right. It is right there in front of you. I love that. And that's just, I think that's the other thing that I am known for. I like games that are in front of you. I don't like games with a lot of hidden stuff.
Yep.
And so, yeah. Well, first of all, it's an easier teach.
Yep.
Okay, it's
True.
much easier than like trying to teach Agricola with all the cards and your new players like, oh, you know. And it's also, I don't have good memory, so...
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, so that's basically me. You can find me on Reddit, Laurini. You can find me on BDG J Schlickburned, SCHLICKBERND. And
rolls right off the tongue.
Well, if you look at it and don't keep adding vowels, it's all good.